All right. I shuffle the cards thoroughly before in between readings and just there, but we have the Queen of Wands coming up as your underlying energy. So what does that say? She's very much like the King of Wands who flew out for you. She's very attractive. She's very confident. She knows what she wants and she knows how to get it. You know, she shines. I always see the King and Queen of Wands as being very they're the celebrities of the tarot. That's how I see them. They're meant to be in the spotlight. This is raising your profile, especially if you run your own business or if you're the face of your business. This is being in the limelight, right? Being seen for who you are. And I do see, I mean, you may be dealing with someone who's very fiery, and that's why if you're dealing with someone, if you're dealing with a fire sign, and usually I see the underlying energy as your energy, the person that I'm reading for, the people that I'm reading for in this case. But it's a general reading, so it can go both ways. It's almost like it's too hot. It's changed your life. There's fire everywhere here. You can see it, right? Wands. We've got all wands. I don't even remember the last time I had a reading like this, and it was all just one element, one thing coming up here. I also want to say this to you. When there's this much fire and you're an earth sign, this is passion. This can be overwhelming. This can be overwhelming. We always look at who we're reading for, right? Always look for that. Now, you might have a lot of fire in your chart, which is fair enough. But I think some of you are playing with fire, which, hey, I always say this. You can use that fire to blaze a path ahead of you, or you can get burned by it. And how do you get burned by fire? It's that desire. When you know it's the desire becomes too much, it turns into obsession. Of why can't I have this? Why is this not happening? That kind of energy. But for a lot of you, I feel like this is recognition now. This is you being seen for your fabulousness, for being seen for who you are. Queen of Wands, amazing energy. This is about a week of where you get things done. You get things done. If you want to get things done, you get them done. Now, another point I want to make, there's only one major arcana card here. That's your advice. That's the Empress. So when we have a lot of minor arcana energy, that's our energy, right? That's our day-to-day, the things that we do. It's not as big as like the major arcana. Major arcana, it's the archetypes of our life, you know, the journey, the bigger journey that we're on. And yeah, you know, our life is a series of nows, and what we do right now affects, we write the next now and the next now, and that's all our life is, a series of nows. But what's going on here this week, this is making a statement, and it's part of a big an expansion of some more abundance in your life as a whole. So let's have a look. We've got 2 Wands court cards coming up, well 3 if you count that King that came up before. So Knight of Wands coming up here for you guys at the heart of your reading. And the Knight of Wands, he's unreliable. And have a look here. It's almost like he's kind of chasing after the Queen of Wands, and she's like, yeah, I don't know if I want this. And is she playing hard to get? Is she like saying you have to kind of woo me? But the Knight of Wands, he goes on a new adventure. He goes in a new direction. His whole point is to enjoy life. He's there for the experience, and he wants new experiences. And with this coming up at the heart of your reading, it might be that if this, I mean, it's all wands. Like, you can use that passion for anything, work, relationships, whatever it is. But it kind of feels, if this is a relationship reading for you, you want to take things in a new direction. That, you know, it's, yeah, you're attractive. Yeah, you know what you've got. You know what you've got to work with. But it's about, you want a new kind of experience. Now, if this is work, and especially if you're working on a project, or you've got a new business or something that you're trying to do, right? I kind of feel like the status of your, whatever it is you're trying to do, your business, your work, even in relationships, it's like your stock goes up, if that makes sense. But it's, you know who you are. It's almost as if you know, it's great being wooed and wowed and being seen as this wonderful thing. I want to go in a different direction. I want to experience something. I want to feel that passion. I want to, you know, I want excitement. I want adventure. I want to go and explore something new. Very un-Virgo-like energy coming up for you guys here. Now, in the past, the foundation, we have the 10 of Wands. So it's been shit, right? Whatever you guys tried to do in the past, like whatever you guys were trying to create, it turned into a burden. Because think about it. The cycle of Wands, it goes from the Ace to the 10. That's the complete cycle. Then it begins again. Not including the court cards, obviously. And so with the 10 of Wands, this is the completion of a cycle. Last week, last month, last year. For some of you that, you haven't felt passion or you haven't felt excitement in a while, yeah, that's about to change big time with all of this energy. Some of you might even think, we have these two, both of these cards talk about attraction. Someone, it's being found very attractive. Now, yes, that can be found physically beautiful. We can have people offering us stuff and all sorts of shit when this kind of energy comes up. But what does attraction mean? It's being able to attract what you want to yourself. This is about putting down the burden in the past. This is about, whatever it was. I mean, this we do willingly. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it is. We willingly carry the burden. And I get it. Sometimes the choice is, well, Jay, I have to do this. I have to carry this burden or I'm going to be homeless. Still a choice, though. You're choosing not to be homeless. So, that's what I mean. It's not always a great choice, but it is our choice to carry it. But this is like putting the burden down. Now, this goes one step further in your reading. Whatever this burden was that you carried, and you carried it for a while, here it is. You were doing this, trucking along, trying to get this load home, trying to get this done. I feel like that's all there was there, just the burden. You get the recognition for it here, though. 6 of Wands. This is victory. This is recognition. This is pride. Look at who I am. Look at what I have to offer. I always feel as if they're about to perform something. Like they climb up there and they're like, hey, everyone, you can imagine the whole village or town or something is gathered at the bottom. And he's like, check out what me and my lion can do. It's that kind of energy. It's pride in who you are, pride in who you've become. And it's recognition for this. Recognition for who you are. Now have a look. What's the progression from this? But, the whole point of the 6 of Wands for here is that even in the traditional Rider-Waite, the guy's sitting on the horse. He climbs on the horse. He's the one that carries the victory. He's the one that says, look at what I've done. Look at what I've achieved. Look at the battle that I've won. Look at my mission that I went on and I'm the conquering hero coming home. So don't be afraid to stand up loud and proud and say, hey, look at who I am. Look at what I've achieved. But that's just it, it's almost as if now when you're ready to go in a new direction, you're being recognized for something else. I want to say this for you because we've got 2 court cards here. And this is can play in a number of different ways. And one of them is that you actually don't want to be as reliable. There's kind of very frivolous energy coming up here, which is not a bad thing. We all need to have some fun sometimes, right? And it's that. When would the queen be a knight? Well, she wouldn't unless it was her choice to kind of go out gallivanting around, go on this adventure and stuff. Some of you want that. Some of you need that fun. Now, others of you, you've reached this pinnacle, you've reached this status, and that is who's coming at you. And I don't think you're not interested. It's almost as if, do you know who I am? It's that kind of energy that's coming from her. What have you got to offer me? Because he's notoriously known as like the one night stand, he's unreliable. And trust me, I love the Knight of Wands. I do love him. But if we have a look at it, and look at what's going on here, he's running away from the burden from the work and he's running towards her now. And think about it. For you, what would that indicate? When you were struggling by yourself, he wasn't anywhere to be found. He's chasing his dreams, chasing his passions, sowing his seeds, doing all of that kind of stuff. Now, when you've succeeded at something, you've achieved something, now he's interested? No. That's why she's got her back turned to him. So I'm kind of getting that. But, there could be some fun here. I don't know. That's up to you guys. It's going to play out differently for each of you. But it's not about anyone else. This is about you standing up and being recognized for everything that you've done. Now, if you do that, you take pride in who you are, get up there, beat that drum and say, this is me. I've arrived. That kind of energy. I know, guys, it's not subtle, Virgo. This is it's more Leo. I'm not going to lie, but there we go. So with the 6 of Wands here, where does it lead? It leads to 7. So we have progression. Now, this is it. So whatever you've achieved here, it's almost like you have to defend it now. You have to defend it. I kind of feel like you're telling this person, this Knight of Wands, which they're attracted to your fire. They see you as exciting. This is where it's happening. It's all happening with Virgo. That's kind of the energy here. And of course, the party all the time Knight is going to come charging in. And this is where you're like, no, you don't get to have this. Standing your ground. But you need to know what you stand for, right? If this is like challenges, and I don't really get that, because I mean that is defensive, but it's just saying no, get back. You're not getting this. You're not having this. The energy that's coming up here, if for that, it's not an obstacle. It doesn't feel difficult. I mean, it's not swords, right? It's very fast. It's very quick. And, it's a week, because it's only a weekly reading that we're doing. But it's almost as if I don't want to say enjoyment, but it's more of a challenge. And challenge to be overcome, not something that gives you any kind of real pause or worry or stress. Now, if you're going through something that feels really big and you're thinking, Jay, what the hell are you talking about? The 10 of Wands, the burden, right? It's amazing the difference a week can make if that's the case. Because you're looking at what I'm looking at, which is 6 out of 6 cards, 5 of them are bloody wands. What's your advice? The advice is to be the Empress. So, with the Empress, what I will say is, if this, yes, strike while the iron's hot and all of that stuff, all of these things flying through my head now to do with the fire that's coming up here. But the Empress, she knows that it takes time to grow stuff, to give birth to stuff. And have a look, in this deck, she's pregnant. So we all know, it takes to get pregnant, and then what 9 months, 10 months it takes to grow the baby. And then even when the baby's born, it needs nurturing, it needs caring, it needs to be taken care of. So you can give birth to something, but it takes nurturing and growth. And with the Empress, we always see the harvest behind her, right? And I always think even that, when we grow crops, they take a while to grow. And there are cycles of when we harvest. There's a time to harvest, there's a time to sow the seeds, there's a time for the stuff to grow. I think this is a week where you fully understand what your passions are, what you want to create. She's all about creation. She's all about abundance. That is possible this week. But I think it's about the longevity of this. Like, you don't want this to just be, a flash in the pan, like that kind of energy. And there is the possibility of that with the Knight of Wands coming up. She won't do that. But, with the Knight of Wands coming up, that's why I think the Empress is the advice, is like, make this last, make this work, get the recognition. This as a projection of where this is going, I would say just be a little cautious of this. Like, do you really want to waste your time? If this is fire's quick, right? Do you really want to waste your time battling this kind of an idiot? And he is. I mean, I love the Knight of Wands. He's my spirit animal, but when there's so much more you could be doing, when you could be taking advantage of this. It's that 15 minutes of fame. That's what it kind of feels like. Your 15 minutes this week.